capacity building, is this an opportunity or challenge? We have our next speaker, Ms. Shoma Banerjee, Director of Data Bureau Academy. We have already introduced her, so I'm not wasting further time. We are already running behind schedule. Shoma.
Good afternoon, everybody, once again. So we discussed since morning. Since morning, there has been a lot of discussions around data science, the good thing that it can do, the applications, where all it can be applied, business, outside business, corporate, and so on. And during the panel, there were some questions on, how people can actually fit into the industry, whether laterally or for freshers. So what I will be talking in the next 10 minutes is basically whether, capacity building, as we understand, developing the skills which is required in the data science area. So is that an opportunity or a challenge, both from the industry perspective as well as people who want to get in the industry? So the context. We again in the morning there were a lot of discussions that why are we suddenly talking about data science? Quickly, let me just maybe do a quick recap on that. It is not that data science wasn't there earlier. Statistics is an old discipline. People had been teaching and learning for a long time. There has been data also in some whatever form and shape that was there. Probably we didn't have, what was missing, or probably what we didn't have was the computation power that we have today, or maybe in the last decade. So in the context of data, in the context of analysis, in the context of statistics, a lot of things really hasn't changed. The principles of statistics really hasn't changed. But because the data availability has gone up, the computational power has gone up in terms of storing the data that we are generating so rapidly, accessing that data, computing, and the processing speed, and hence the analysis power has gone up so tremendously. So when I started my career, 15 years back, SPSS was such a tiny package, and today there are so many features that are available, and there are so many other tools which have come up in the market. So if you look at the context of corporations or companies, organizations, because this data is available today, so what am I really doing it? In the last decade, competition has become so fierce. Earlier we have seen, probably when we were growing up, may not be all the young students there sitting at the back, but when we were growing up, we have seen monopolistic industry. Then we have seen some competition coming in some form and shape. But today you see that, look at the way competition has actually erupted. You have companies like Nokia, which was so successful at a point in time. It is not there. Somebody else gobbled up their business. So when competition is so fierce, organizations are also scared that, what should be their step? What step should they take next to actually be ahead of the competition, be ahead of the market? So it is not that data analytics or big data or data science suddenly is coming into the forefront with a lot of promise, a lot of magic, but it is actually the need by the companies, the organizations, to stay ahead of the market, to stay ahead of the competition, and to remain competitive. So it is not that I am developing something new in terms of analytics methods or techniques which wasn't there earlier, and people didn't know about it, right? Companies are actually needing it much more than probably you and me, where they need it to stay ahead and be competitive in the market, to continue to increase their revenue, decrease their cost, and so on. Now, So the need of this staying ahead of competition, the need for being there in the market, the need for survival in some cases also gives rise to opportunities for invention, opportunities to innovate new ideas, new products. And again, from there actually comes in that if I have really collected the data, or if I have data available to me through, whether I'm collecting it by purpose through some studies that I'm conducting, like we used to do in the area of market research, or if it is, which is being generated today in social media, which is really, there is no purpose behind it, but then it is being collected nevertheless. So if I have this data available with me, now what am I doing with it? Am I just leaving it there as it is there, or am I really trying to use it? And when it comes to the area of using it, so how am I using it? Am I using it to stay competitive, to stay ahead in the market? So from the corporate standpoint, from organization standpoint, it is no luxury today. If you want to be, for your own survival, for your own market share, you want to be there, profitable, maintain your market share, or maybe grow your market share, you need to analyze your data, right? So that is the context, and obviously because of that, there is tremendous opportunity. Opportunity for whom? Opportunity for the industry, opportunity for the organization, as well as opportunities, for the people who are there, many of you in the room, either a fresher or somebody who is probably in the area of IT, that how can I actually get in if there is such a big opportunity in the industry, globally, right? So while I talk about the opportunity from the corporate and all, I mean, if we look, go a little back in terms of history, India is the country which gave the world the concept of zero, right? Aryabhatta invented the concept of zero, and the world is probably thankful to us for that. So what happened after that? We have this legacy of, we say that our education system is so good, we are so strong in mathematical abilities and so on. Then what happened there? So because of this huge opportunity and the drive, the pull from the corporates globally, they're looking and staring at us. So we have the, enormous opportunity to actually tap that, as a country, to actually contribute to the hunger of data analytics and big data for the world. So the kind of positions we had historically, can we really do something about it today as we stand here and discuss and deliberate on that? So in terms of satisfying or addressing that opportunity, there can be 2-3 ways that we can do it. Like in the case of IT, let's take the example of IT. So I mean, we consider that we consider ourselves, as well as the globe, the world also considers us, that we are one of the providers of large number of skilled IT people, right? So do we want to tap or address the opportunity in that fashion, that we will train some people in data science areas, skilled data scientists, skilled analysts, skilled developers, and so on, and then we follow the same model that we followed in the case of IT, of course, arbitrage. So we basically the same outsourcing model. Or we probably look ahead a little more and look at the level of algorithm methodologies, coming out with some techniques, some methodologies which the world can actually use. Right? Not only us, but the world can actually also use that. The area of product development, right? That is a new culture. There's a different culture than actually sending people from here or getting services from outside to India for the purpose of cost arbitrage. But actually creating products, and I'm very happy to say that, we have Sanjay there sitting at the back, and I'm again taking his name. But there are people like that who are creating products in the area of analytics, sitting right here in our city of Calcutta. And so can we create that culture of creating, conceptualizing product which the world will use, which probably hasn't really happened in this case of IT, even when we say that we have such big manpower and, skilled manpower that we have in IT for the entire world. And of course, the, space of IP creation. So creating patents, creating products, and really dominating the world in that. Given the legacy that we have, starting from history to, the formation of ISI, Prashanta Mahalanobis, our education system of emphasis on maths and quantitative abilities, the area of technology, the way we have actually grabbed that technology space, can we not do that? So that is the huge opportunity that we have. That is the landscape of opportunities that is there in front of us. Whether we want to really take it, do something about it, is completely up to us. So there is an opportunity, there is the pull from the corporates. Now let us look at some numbers, the scale. So the Big Data Analytics Summit in Hyderabad, which was organized by NASSCOM, there were some numbers there, and if I recall it correctly, we are saying that India needs 300,000 data scientists by 2018. And mind it, this is not US numbers. Right? And we are, all of us, I think, used to reading some numbers from McKinsey, which said 140 to 180,000 data scientists we need in US needs. Then there are some 4 lakh data savvy managers that US needs. I think those projections probably came up sometime in 2013-14 and was valid till 2000 for prediction till 2018. But what I'm saying, these are numbers for the Indian industry based on studies that NASSCOM has done. So 300,000, so we are in 2015, 2018 is 3 years, right? So if I look at it annually, very simple calculation, we do not need complex analysis or any model for that. So 1 year, every year, 100,000, right? So if I look at it, break it down further, on a daily basis, around 450 data scientists, analysts in this space is what we require. Let us be conservative. Yeah, let's say maybe we require around 250, 300, even if not 450. Now, are we equipped to give that number to the corporate world? Is India equipped today to supply 250 or 450, whichever number you want to take, feel free, to tell the companies that, hello, we have so many data scientists available with us, give us jobs, we are ready. Are we in that position? And that the numbers, what I shared is till 2018, and the numbers most probably will actually grow, right? So, and when we talk about recruiting, this is numbers, when we talk about recruiting, so you have people coming out, there are so many colleges, right? You have ISIs, you have the IITs, the big league colleges, and then you have the other colleges, which are teaching either technology or statistics, MSc statistics, and so on. But when it comes to employability, Ujjwani is here, there are so many other people from the industry who can probably tell how many of them are really employable when they are coming out from these institutes, being trained in this, disciplines of statistics or technology, programming, and so on. Right? So out of maybe 10 people, we are actually recruiting one person. Right? So that is the kind of ratio that we are looking at, 1:10. In fact, I had I was discussing with Shrikant of Fractal Analytics, and that's the number that he gave, that, out of 1,024 applications, interviews that they conducted, they only could take maximum 10%. So imagine the amount of time corporates and organizations are actually wasting in the selection process. These numbers, and we are looking at people who are required to work in the industries to actually address the gap which is there in terms of the supply. Who are the people who are teaching? Professor Mitra, during the panel discussion, he said that there is no subject like analytics or big data in today's programs in the universities. Probably they will come up. There are, institutes which are talking about it, which are thinking. But then, let us see who are the people who are teaching these areas. do they really have the practical industry exposure? So in universities, typically we see that there are highly qualified faculties who have doctorates, postdoctorates and all, who actually teach many of these areas of statistics and application and so on. Or even if you look at computer science technologies, data mining, text mining and so on. But then how much of really corporate or practical exposure that they have, which they can then give that exposure to the students who are learning in either a BTech program or an MSc program or even a PhD program for that matter. On the other side, the corporate also cannot say that we do not have any responsibility. How many of these corporates or people who are working in the corporate are motivated to teach people or teach young people and then groom them to come to the industry, make them ready for the industry? So we keep talking about it that I have requirements, but then because I have to sift so many CVs and interviews and all, so much of my time is really getting wasted. But what is the industry as well as the academia doing about it? And then let's also look at who are getting trained. So we had some questions earlier, freshers asking about that, how do I get in this area if there are opportunities? Will people take us as freshers? Will the industry accept us as freshers? And the people who have the experience in IT or otherwise, or maybe a domain, they are asking that how can I make a shift into that in the area of data science? Now, can everybody make that cut? Is everybody eligible? Again, during the course of the panel discussion, I did mention that in an data analytics or big data, whichever name you choose to call your business intelligence or whichever name you choose to call your department, it is not a single person, who runs that department or works that department or does a particular modular analysis. It is a teamwork, and there is opportunity and there is role fixed for everybody. You have a programmer, you have a modeler, you have somebody who just cleans data. Before you can actually analyze data or even look at data, there's so much of work that goes into data cleaning, data preparation, and data processing. Then somebody actually looks at it, does various slices, dices, cuts, and then you get some perspectives. Then that model is up for maybe actually looking at what is the model that I will try, and then again it's a trial and error process. So in the entire process, you have the person who is actually doing data cleaning, to somebody who is maybe before that accessing the data. That itself is such a big area. And then at the end of it, you have somebody who is from the business who is saying, okay, you have done so many things, but then does it really make sense for the business? Is there a business case? Right? So there are opportunities for, the technology guy, the data crunching guy, and the business guy as well. But when the institutions, which are there, private or public, people who are offering these new business analytics courses or data science courses which are coming up, are they really making the expectation clear to these participants or aspirants who want to come into this area? There is opportunity for everybody, definitely, but at the same time, is everybody going to do everything? Is it possible? And are we really making that expectation, setting the expectation of the aspirants, a fresher or somebody experienced, making them aware of what they are getting into? There is, like in the corporate, there is a lot of mis-selling which happens in analytics and big data in the name of technology. Similarly, there is a lot of mis-selling which happens and which is happening in the area of training as well. So if we really cannot address these challenges, then we are setting ourselves, for failure. I mean, forget about the world. Let's look at our country. So we are setting ourselves for failure. Then internship. So we have, people talk about internships and all. Professor Mitra was telling earlier that people are in their institute are picking up data analytics when they do internship. A 1 month, 6 weeks or 8 weeks internship, is it enough really to expose somebody to this area of analytics? I mean, I remember, when I did my summer internship, I think it was 4 weeks, and some cases probably 6 weeks. So we went to each department 1 week, in every department, like you are, there is something on display, you go and just understand what they do. Beyond that, in 1 month or, 6 weeks, how much of really learning you can really get? And on the other side, how much of value the organization or the company will actually get from such a short, period of work, right? So then, will they be really motivated to, take people and then give that internship opportunity if it is not really helping them? It becomes more of a botheration rather than actually taking that, hat and saying that, okay, I'm going to contribute to the industry. So internship really needs to be something which is of value, and the value will come only when it is a longer period internship. So at ISI we are seeing that they have something, I think the last time they do project which is of 5 months nature. So they are actually in that kind of period, you have the time to learn through trial and error. Because in analytics it is not that first time when I'm doing something and it is right. If somebody comes and tells me, hello, my model is right or not, I cannot say whether it is right at the first go, right? I'll have to see whether, what is the accuracy, and then there are ways and means to improve the accuracy. And whether it really meets my requirement or not, whether it meets the business requirement or not, right? So a longer internship, actually doing, working on project, whether you work with simulated data or whether you work with actual data, there is a lot of data available on the net. You just go look up Indian data. There's a lot of Indian data available from on the sensors and even otherwise. So pick up that, do, whatever technique that you are learning, pick up that and apply it, because that is what will give you that practice, the time to actually explore that. So, and the other context that I would briefly touch upon is, so within an organization, so here we probably talked about, there were people who interacted on their personal capacity, they asked questions. But in an organization like, say, Cognizant or Wipro, which is a service organization, but then because there is this opportunity of analytics and data science the world over, they are looking at reskilling their employee base. Right, so they're looking at reskilling, and these are not small numbers. These are like numbers like 10 to 15,000. So maybe 5 to 10% of their employees, they want to reskill, they want to retrain, so that they have the appreciation of what analytics is, first of all. And second, if they can actually do some of this work, without recruiting from outside, right? So there, when we are talking about such opportunities, such big numbers, so we need people, or we need trainers who can actually address these challenges, right? Who can give the practical exposure, bring that corporate exposure to the problems that they are solving, offer, the right guidance, set the right guidance and expectation in terms of what they are getting into, a longer term internship projects, right, which will actually help them learn, and not just learn maybe the names, that data science and machine learning, supervised, unsupervised learning, but actually do some meaningful work in that area. And then learn it so that you are not just getting skill, but you are employable. So that when Cognizant or a Wipro is actually taking out the ad in the, either a newspaper, or they are looking at reskilling them, they can actually reduce that training time, because there is a cost attached to that as well, right? So that's all I had. So so there were some questions earlier, where they were asking how should we go about it and all. There are a lot of information which is available on the net. There is a lot of information available on techniques, tools, as well as data on the net. And we as an organization, Data Bureau Academy, we also offer programs with corporate training, as well as, individual training. We're associated with the institutions like, ISWBM and ADBU, Assam and so on. So where we basically try to bridge this gap, and we can appreciate it because we have worked in the industry and that this is what we need. So creating platforms like this actually brings the industry and the academia together so that each can actually appreciate the role that the other person have, right? Because in isolation, this is not something that we can win in isolation, right? There is an advantage that this has offered in terms of a big opportunity, and together through collaboration we can actually address and win that. Thank you very much.